When I discovered TikTok mini like us in 2020, I was so excited when I hit 2,000 followers. Now though, that page becomes untouched, and every year I write down that I want to hit 10K followers. And you know what's funny, besties? Is that I'm allowing the fear of not being seen or heard to hold me back. Hoping that I'll get the followers through osmosis and they'll just randomly see my page when I'm not creating content? Hey there, besties, and welcome to our cozy corner of the podcasting world. It's time for another episode of Share a Latte. I'm Min, your virtual coffee bestie and host. Imagine us in a cozy cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee in the air, and ready to embark on an inspiring journey. In each episode, remarkable women share their stories of triumphs over life's challenges, providing a warm embrace for your soul. These tales remind you of resilience and determination are keys to success. So grab your favorite brew, get comfy, and join us for the conversation that will awaken your mind and heart. You'll discover your own power to turn tough times into incredible strength. The Share a Latte podcast sprinkles hope and courage and the belief that you can not only handle, but thrive into your day. All right, besties, let's embrace those tales of triumphs and get ready for another awesome episode of Share a Latte. Hey, latte and podcast lovers. Thanks so much for pressing that play button and joining me today on Share a Latte. I'm your host, Sukree, and today we're diving into the reflections and resolutions. As we bid farewell to 2023, join me on this special episode where I'll be sharing 10 things I'm leaving in the rearview mirror of the year gone by. From habits to mindsets, we're brewing up a conversation that's not just about coffee, but also about cleansing our lives for a fresh start. So grab your favorite cup and cozy up with an empowering episode. The first thing I'm leaving behind in 2023 is failure. This year has brought with a constant sense of falling short in my work, in my family life, and even in the compromisation of expectations of my younger self. It's been a struggle, feeling like a failure. I'm leaving failing behind, or at least the feeling of failing and the idea that I am constantly failing. Imagine life as a cup of coffee. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, it doesn't turn out quite right. But that doesn't mean that we're bad baristas. Life's journey is full of twists and turns, and those setbacks don't make us failures. Besties, how about we together say goodbye to the notion of failure? Just because things don't always work out as planned or end differently than expected, it doesn't mean that we're failing. Let's embrace the ups and downs, savoring each experience as the unique flavor in the rich tapestry of life. Think of it as a cup of coffee where the aroma of resilience and boldness of optimism infuse our stories. Let's leave behind the bitter taste of failure and appreciate it. Just like the perfect cup of coffee, our journey is about mastering the art of life and not avoiding each setback. 2. Relationships that no longer serve you. Just like coffee blends, relationships add richness and warmth to our lives. In 2023, I found myself holding on to the connections that lost their flavor, draining me rather than energizing me. If you were on TikTok in 2020, there was a trending sound. Be like Marie Kondo. If the boy doesn't bring you joy, it is time to yeet the boy. As I step into 2024, I'm committing to leaving behind relationships that no longer serve me. It's not about cutting ties abruptly, but recognizing that just as a coffee blend evolves, so should our connections. I'm seeking companionship that adds special kick to my daily blend, and relationships that are as fulfilling as the aroma of freshly ground beans. This was a complicated one for me. When I reflected on relationships, I had to learn the roles that I played, which brings us to number 3. The lack of boundaries. In 2023, I found myself sometimes neglecting the importance of clear and healthy boundaries, much like the cup overflowing of too much coffee. Setting new boundaries isn't about building walls. It's about crafting a framework that honors your well-being and respects the rhythm of your life. It's like selecting the right beans, each one chosen carefully to contribute to the overall flavor. In 2024, I'm going to embrace the art of saying no when needed and saying yes to prioritizing my self-care. Boundaries, like the subtle notes of a complex coffee blend, enhances the overall experience of life. So join me in making the commitment to yourself, to defining the edges of your time and energy and personal space, creating a life that's as harmonious as a well-brewed symphony. Number 4, lack of confidence and self-doubt. In 2023, I questioned all of my abilities, like a decaf missing its kick. Besties, it's time to stop watering down our potential and embracing the richness of self-confidence. Just as a well-brewed coffee has layers of flavor, I discovered the flavors of my capabilities and started celebrating them. Confidence isn't something that we're able to obtain overnight, and sometimes it's tested with job losses, low social media numbers, or a family member taking jabs at our appearance or character. Leaving behind self-doubt means that you'll be able to craft a more robust version of yourself, like a Min 2.0, ready to take on challenges and boldness and richness for a perfectly pulled shot. Confidence is what lies within us. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves through action, affirmations, and the act of self-love that we are worthy, deserving, and everything amazing this world has to offer. Number 5, taking your health mentally and physically for granted. In the whirlwind of 2023, I sometimes treated my health like an instant coffee, quick and convenient, and not always the best choice. Don't get me wrong, I had times this year where I was taking care of my mind, spirit, and body. In 2024, I'm leaving this habit behind of taking my health for granted. It's time to savor the flavors of nourishing meals, prioritizing my well-being, and treating my body like the precious vessel that it is. Like a well-brewed cup of coffee, good health is a daily ritual worth sipping, slowly and appreciating every drop. And in January of 2023, I'll be releasing an episode where we talk a little bit more about consistency. Number 6, lack of gratitude. In the hustle of 2023, I sometimes forgot to appreciate life's flavors. Gratitude is the sweetener to our daily cup, enhancing the overall experience. Back in 2020, I started writing a gratitude journal. It took me 10 minutes every day to reflect on what was good. And to say that this was a difficult time for me, it was a very difficult time in my life. Not only was the world going through a pandemic, but my marriage was coming to an end, my concussion symptoms were controlling my day, and my career was basically non-existent. I needed that time to remind myself that I had a beautiful life, wonderful children, and a business that was about to take off. If you listen to a previous episode of Share a Latte, Why Gratitude is Good with Jenna Warner, you will see how gratitude can not only fulfill your heart, but change yourself to be the best version of yourself possible. So in 2024, I'm ditching the bitter aftertaste of ingratitude. Every morning, I'm starting off my day with a gratitude blend, acknowledging the richness in even the simplest moments. Like a well-brewed cup of coffee, gratitude adds depth and sweetness to life. Join me in this daily ritual where we savor the goodness in every cup and every moment. Number 7, not celebrating my wins. In 2023, I'll confess, I didn't take the time to celebrate my wins. It was like a cup of coffee without savoring the aroma, missing out on the joy. Okay, first, I won't say I didn't celebrate on any of my wins. I did celebrate in Palm Springs with fellow female CEOs. I waited to celebrate my big wins. When I meet with clients to talk about their podcast, the first thing we talk about is their win. I make them celebrate it because even the idea of scheduling a podcast episode is a massive win. I'd gotten comfortable in moving my goalposts or waiting for a bigger goal to be achieved, never recognizing the hard work I'd put into it to achieving that goal. In 2020, I also launched a podcast, and I never celebrated the launch. I didn't even make a coffee date to celebrate with my best friends. But here's a scoop for 2024. I'm leaving behind that rush and embracing the celebration. Whether big or small, every win deserves a toast. Just like a perfectly brewed cup of coffee, victories should be relished and adding to the extra sweetness of our daily blend. So commit to yourself for savoring your successes, creating a life that's as delightful as the freshly ground beans. 8, lack of strategic planning. 2023 taught me the importance of strategic planning. Much like carefully crafting the perfect coffee blend, In the past, I might have approached the goals with a rushed coffee order, quick and lacking intention. When I launched my podcast in 2020, it honestly was like me throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it would stick. I didn't plan out episodes. I didn't even have a wish list of potential guests. Over this past year, I really learned to be a lot more strategic, and not only in my business and podcast, but in my life. In 2024, I'm investing a lot more time in strategic planning and reflecting on where I want to be and how I want to do it. It's about taking the time to grind, measure, and brew success deliberately, creating a plan that's as satisfying as the perfect cup of coffee. Number 9, fear of being seen and heard. Fear sometimes whispers in your ear like a quiet coffee corner. Fear of being seen and heard can not only be stifling to your professional life, but as well as your personal. When I discovered TikTok, many like us, in 2020, I was so excited when I hit 2,000 followers. Now though, that page becomes untouched, and every year I write down that I want to hit 10K followers. And you know what's funny, besties, is that I'm allowing the fear of not being seen or heard to hold me back. Hoping that I'll get the followers through osmosis and they'll just randomly see my page when I'm not creating content? Dreams don't work unless you do. Here's to the shot of courage. In 2024, I'm leaving this fear behind. I'm stepping into my own version of Sasha Fierce, and I hope that you do the same. Whether it's through your voice or presence, step into that spotlight, embracing the richness of being seen and heard. And finally, number 10, trying to do it all. 2023 had me doing it all. It was like blending every coffee flavor in one cup, overwhelming and not the best strategy. I was trying to be the best daughter, mother, business owner, and juggling became my daily life. I don't need to take on everything. You don't need to take on everything. You're allowed to delegate. You're allowed to accept help. And as a woman and people, we don't need to be doing everything. In 2024, select your priorities like choosing the finest beans. It's about quality over quantity. Just like the coffee blend for so many flavors have been confusing and overwhelming, attempting to do it all left me feeling shattered and drained. In 2024, I'm adopting a more intentional approach, focusing on the tasks that truly align with my goals and values. It's like creating a perfectly balanced blend. Each element contributes to the overall richness of the experience. So let's raise our mugs to being more streamlined and purposeful in 2024. Letting go of the belief that you need to be a superhero, recognizing that magic is about choosing what matters. Just like a well-crafted cup of coffee, life becomes more satisfying when we savor the quality of each moment, task, and endeavor. In wrapping up this reflective journey, I want to express my gratitude to you, bestie. You're my wonderful latte podcast lovers. Thank you for joining me on every single episode of 2023 for Share a Latte, being a part of this empowering conversation. As we navigate the twists and turns of life, let's remember, just like the perfect cup of coffee, our journey is a blend of experiences, challenges, and flavors. Until our next coffee chat, cheers to 2024. Let's brew that intention, purpose, and the richness that comes from embracing each moment. May your cups be filled with joy, resilience, and the extraordinary flavor that is uniquely yours. If today's episode warmed your heart, please hit that subscribe button and join me on future journeys. Enjoyed the chat today? Your thoughts and feedback mean the world to me, and they really help others find the magic in Share a Latte. Every story enriches our journey. Remember, you can turn your trials into triumphs and your scars into stars. Keep believing and keep chasing those dreams. This is Min taking her last sip from the Share a Latte podcast, where life happens and coffee helps.